Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your Watford 2, Leeds United 2 post-match reaction. Hope you're all doing all right after that one. I'm going to try break down the game as much as I can. I want you to get your comments in after that. I'm really fascinated to know what your thoughts are. Do you agree? Do you disagree? All that sort of good stuff. We're going to get through it. We're going to try go through the game and stuff. At the end of it, it's a good point for Leeds with the situation we're in. You can probably tell by my tone that I'm a little bit sort of deflated by it, to be honest. The second half was so much better in the second half of the second half. I thought the first bit of the second half was just the exact same as the first half. I thought the first 60 minutes was really poor, to be honest with you. Listen, it was all right. It wasn't all right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to be real because there's so much rubbish on there. There's protection for certain players online from certain people. And it does my head in. Sentiment FC with a lot of our fan base. And we need to get real here. We need to keep it real. Now, I put a tweet out online, which I've had to delete because, whatever. It might have been worded. And I will say this, might have been worded slightly poorly. And I do apologise for that. I called Liam Cooper a bozo of a defender. And I said it was a total embarrassment for him to be starting for Leeds United in 2024. Harshly written. I will say that. And I apologise to anyone who I offended there. I think there's a modicum of truth in it, maybe harshly worded, but we're going to get into exactly why I feel that way. Listen, the intensity is not just started by a Liam Cooper, of course it isn't. But I feel just in that first half is the holding of the line, the decision making when he's being proactive and coming out of the back line to try and tackle Asprilla and getting done, trying to tackle Dennis and getting done. It just sets us up in the complete wrong way. And I just feel there was a couple of times in that first half where Rodon covered him and came out loose passes. I'm not just blaming Liam Cooper. I thought Sam Byron was poor in that first half. I thought Kamara was poor. It was Ampadu's worst half for Leeds United. Worst half for Leeds United by a country mile. So listen, it was one of those first halves where we seemed to get with Watford's intensity whatsoever. They started man for man, and I thought it went really, really well for them. We weren't able to bypass that press whatsoever. I think in that team, you've got maybe Crysencio Somerville, Glenn Kamara, who are press resistant. And that's about it, really. I think the rest of them, and Rutter, obviously, but the rest of them genuinely rely on lateral play, a little bit of pace, all that sort of stuff. But I think the ingenuity to bypass a press, I think we've probably got about 3 players in that attacking lineup who can do so. And they were having off games. I thought we looked tired at points. The game has to be right, really, to context-wise as well, to solely rely on a Dan James for your creative spark, really, in large embers of the game. And I thought Somerville and Dan James were the creative sparks in the game. That's who we were looking to. Rutter was trying to do everything by himself in terms of getting Leeds up the pitch. That really wasn't working for large parts of the game, which was a shame. But he looked tired. I thought he looked a little bit knackered. And the man-for-man thing by Tom Cleverley, I thought worked really, really well. It was a good bit of management. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to get into your comments in just a second, but I thought we were really poor on the ball. Couldn't control it. And the first goal, listen, we'll get into it because we're going to end on a positive because Leeds United ended the day with a point. Of course they did, which is good. But it was a calamity, wasn't it? That first goal. Liam Cooper ended up in the goal. I don't know why he's in the goal. I don't know where Byram is. Melee, I thought, made a terrific save. I'm seeing people say it was Melee. Like there was a little bit of fault towards Melee there. Do you know what? I don't say that. I don't say that. And I won't, I didn't see that. And I won't say that, I should say. I thought Melee made a terrific save. But it was 6 corners to Watford, wasn't it? They weren't battering us. They were knocking on the door. I thought they were knocking on the door. And listen, Leeds were just not on the races whatsoever. Leeds weren't at the races whatsoever. And I thought it was evident. I thought Watford were pouncing on it. It's games that we've seen previously on years gone by, isn't it? Where the opposition get on top of us. The famous Bielsa Nottingham Forest game where they pretty much went man for man on us and really physically got at us. And Leeds looked tired and shaken and shell-shocked. That was the game, what I thought in that first half against Watford just then, where it was quite similar. They were pressing on us quite high, man for man. They've got quality on that counter attack. Manuel Dennis was causing a few problems, and then we had the and then we got back into the game. The wonderful effort from Crysencio Somerville, wonderful effort. And then as a fan base, we're all turning around and going, do you know what? Okay. All right, no problem. We'll rectify this. We need to start seeing a little bit more. We need to improve. I thought it was brilliant from Joe Rodon, I have to say. And I thought Joe was really good tonight, bringing the ball out from the back, breaking the line, which we hadn't done once, and feeding the ball in. And he started that attack. And I love that from Joe Rodon, being productive in a very decent way, coming forward with the ball, taking it in his stride. And as I said, in that first half, when he was covering for Liam Cooper for several occasions, Joe, I thought Joe Rodon, I thought Joe Rodon did really, really well there. Chris Somerville with a wonderful finish. And then instantly they're pinned back again, aren't they? Watford come forward. They're not deterred at all by the Leeds United goal. And you think that Leeds are going to put a bit of an assault on the Watford goal, and it doesn't happen. We fall back into shape again. The man-for-man system that Watford have done so well is killing Leeds again and again and again. I thought the lad in the midfield was really good for them. I thought Jamal Lewis, obviously a Daniel Farke ex-player, was playing really, really well, getting Archie Gray on that right-hand side as well. And they were pushing up and they were playing really well. And that was all instigated by Emmanuel Dennis. And then the second goal came. And listen, as I've said previously, I've taken the tweet down because, listen, he got a lot of likes, a hell of a lot of likes. And that's not because I put something unbelievable out there and something which is, crazily, mesmeric and everybody's learned something from it. It's not. It's because I think everyone had that frustration that I had at that moment in time, which was, I cannot believe he's lost the header, looked completely discombobulated. Look, Liam Cooper Shaw's a nice lad. He's the club captain. He's the club captain. It's not hating on him. He's just not, he should not be playing for Leeds United anymore in 2024. Shouldn't be happening. I do think it's a bit of an embarrassment that he's playing for Leeds in 2024. I don't think he's good enough. I really don't. And unfortunately, he's beaten to the header when Bayo's behind him. He's beaten to the header, so he's not got that leap on him already. He's down, he's discombobulated, he's running back, staggering, he's then holding his arm up for offside. and then obviously he gets done again, gets back into the position, gets done twice, ball's put in the back of the net. And you just think to yourself, what's going on here? We've had this rear guard that's been impeccable, and suddenly we've had one or two changes in there, and it's all really gone to pot. I thought Watford, every single time they came forward, they looked dangerous, to be honest with you. But the beauty of it, everybody, is we got back into it. We did get back into it, and that is a big positive towards the end, because that last 30 minutes was the Leeds United we know and love. Joseph came on. Anthony, I thought, came on and did really well. Joseph obviously got his goal. But the Cooper off substitution had to have been made, in my opinion, at half-time. The commentators were talking about Emmanuel Dennis coming off and that ruining Watford's play and that changed the dimension of the game. I don't agree. I thought Junior Firpo was brilliant. I thought he was brilliant when he came on, was forward-thinking, was incisive, a real almost football brain, bending the ball around the defender for Matteo Joseph and Patrick Bamford to work on. That's what we didn't have in the first half. And I thought I thought he was one of our best players, even just by the spell that he came on. I thought he was excellent. And I don't think it was Emmanuel Dennis going off. It might have been part and part, really. But I thought when Firpo came on, that was exactly what Leeds United needed. Exactly what Leeds United needed. Junior Firpo came on and he gave Somerville a little bit more license. We were able to play with a bit more width, because when Somerville is purely creating width by himself, that is a big problem. Firpo hugs the touchline as well. And then what you get is that entire Watford spread, that compact glue spreading out wide, and then you find holes, then you find spaces. Junior Firpo gives you that. And for the stick that, myself and everybody will have given Junior Firpo over, the years and stuff like that, when it's come to, his development at Leeds United, this, that, and the other, I thought he was really good. Really, really good. I'm going to get into a couple of your comments, everybody. There's loads coming in right now. I hope you're all doing really well, by the way. Let me know what you think. There's a couple of comments in here. Agree completely, Connor. We were shambles for 70 minutes with Cooper on the pitch. Conceded 2 goals from open play in 2024. Both then Cooper's on the pitch. I do have to say, Andy, we have got to be transparent here. It wasn't just Cooper. And as I say, the tweet that I put out there was very harshly worded, and I apologise for that. But what I will say is the foundation of what I said, I completely stand by. I really do. And the frustration was boiling up massively then, because I'm just like, how has he got this so wrong? How has he got this so wrong? And how many times have we seen this? It's not a personal attack on Liam. And unfortunately, some people can't compute that on Twitter and YouTube. But maybe It was slightly harshly written, so I took it down. But at the end of the day, the sentiment is still there. It's still there that he should not be playing for Leeds United in 2024. And that is another illustration of why he shouldn't be. Look, the Watford 3-0 win at home. Obviously, he was part of the winning formula then. Leeds dominated the play. Everything was in Watford's half at Ellen Road. He didn't have anything to do. The Southampton game was indicative of a really tough game where he struggled again. So you do wonder where Coop sort of lies from here. But listen, there's loads of comments coming in. Brandon says, Rutter shouldn't have played tonight. I'd have happily played Joseph with Bamford. He looked good, didn't he? If someone recorded me whilst watching a Leeds game, you'd think I hate every single player but Rodon. Yeah, exactly, mate. We're on the same boat. Keep Rodon and Ampadu in defence for Monday. Yeah, we look completely different, didn't we? And that's one positive we've got to say, I think. Well, we've got more than one positive. We didn't lose the game. And at one point, genuinely, I'm watching this game and we've got the group chat going on, and everyone in the group chat saying the exact same thing. We could be done 2 or 3. That Rodon challenge, let's talk about that Rodon challenge in the first half. Absolutely insane. Insane tackle, which kept us in the game. So that goes 2-0. You're struggling because their defensive shape, 3-5-2, was really good, I thought. Really, really good. So, yeah, really impressive with him. I thought throughout the game, Joe Rodon, I thought his defensive reading of the game was good. And overall, listen, we got a point at the end of the day. So let's get into the second half. So there were no changes. I thought we had to bring changes on. I think everybody did at halftime as well. Everybody online, everybody in my group chat, people who I was watching it with, we all thought there had to be changed at halftime. He waits till the 62nd minute, and then I thought there was no spark in that first half. Firpo, Matt came on in the 62nd minute. I didn't understand why we had to be that long. But we started breaking the lines a lot more, and it was good to see Junior there and the impact that he has now just on that wide system and the difference when he's not out the side. Ampadu really struggled, I thought, in central midfield. Really, really struggled. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought he was gobbled up for the majority of that first half. But listen, we got into the second half, and Ampadu going at the back. I can't disagree with any of you. I'm not going to turn around and say, "Oh, that's Ethan Ampadu." That's Ethan Ampadu done in the midfield. I think the context of the game was it was very different. He was almost thrusted into that midfield. We learned about Gruev very late on in the week, and you kind of disrupt that partnership, and just throwing Ethan Ampadu back in there and in a away game in London. Listen, I'm not just making excuses for him there, but I just think to myself, overall, from being a centre back now for the best part of 3 months to just throw him back in central, it's going to take a while for him to get used to that again, I feel. And you saw him struggling, you saw him rusty, and the same sentiment really can be applied to your Byrams and your Coopers and all this sort of stuff. But overall, if we're being brutally honest, there's out of that selection of players, just as a conversation, there's one player in that 3 who's good enough for the Premier League, and yeah. I want to get your thoughts. Ampadu centre back just works better for me than any other formula. Yeah, Mark, you're right. We won't win every game. Perot didn't do anything. Can we talk about Joseph? Why is he not playing? Yeah, Vinny. Listen, I think what I like with Joseph is I don't see people think I'm mental for saying it. I wanted him when he scored his goal against Chelsea. I wanted him to start the next game. I did. I think he's incisive. He's sharp, and I don't think you get much downside to what you do with Pat Bamford. You guys might disagree. That's fine. That's football. But let me be clear here. I am a big fan of Patrick Bamford. I think his link-up play can be sloppy sometimes, and we saw that again today. But then in other phases of the game, his link-up was really good. There was a couple of good moments for Joseph where Bamford was part of the show and his link-up was really decent. But overall, I didn't think it was too bad today, but Joseph is just so sharp, so incisive, and he got his goal today. And he wanted to go off celebrating, didn't he? He wanted to go off celebrating, but he couldn't. Bless him. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of him, and I don't think you lose that much, to be honest with you. And interestingly enough, I thought when Perot came on, apart from the odd dodgy touch, I thought he actually looked. Can we say as good as Rutter today? If not better, just in that little cameo appearance he had. He was getting a lot more of the ball, was just in that number 10 role. A few more touches, a few more obvious passes. I thought Rutter was trying to do a little bit too much today. And it wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad at all. Keep getting your comments in. Good to have around the lads, but on the pitch he's called League One Liam for a reason. Do you know what though, mate? It's not. I don't think League One Liam is fair, and I've always said it on here. And this is the problem, like taking it out of context. I've always tried to back Liam Cooper as a person up on here, but he's just not. He shouldn't be playing for Leeds in 2024. I do think it's a bit of an embarrassment. Maybe the word embarrassment is a bit harsh, but I do. I don't think it should be happening. I really don't. But the overall context is we've dropped a point. It's not great, but we go and beat Hull. We go and beat Coventry. As me, Oscar and Gabe were saying the other night, it's not a bad week, is it? 7 points out of 9. But you've really got to beat Hull now, haven't you? You have kind of got to beat Hull. I did think maybe that was potentially a game though where we dropped points a little bit, but you did see a little bit of a systematic problem. I thought you saw a few systematic problems today where certain individuals were out of certain positions and you thought, oh, okay, yeah, we've seen a bit of a breakup here. It's consistency, isn't it? Consistency builds momentum. So, yeah. Bradley says, Connie, your tweet wasn't back on some of Bozo, defender offensive. Jesus, the world becoming... mate, trust me, certain people jump on it. Certain people jump on it with replies. I didn't think it was too bad, but I listened to people a lot. So I took it down. Yeah, I'll be honest about it. And if I need to apologise, then I need to apologise for it. But I didn't think it was too bad. But there we go. Is the world we live in, isn't it? But yeah. Let's have a quick look at some of your comments. People saying Farke out is a joke. I mean, that is ridiculous, JLG. If people are saying Farke out after that, they need their head testing. I think I didn't listen. Joseph scored, but on the 82nd minute, bringing him on with Anthony, I thought Anthony looked sharp, and didn't he nearly score? Oh my god, that chance afterwards where Somerville jinked in, got to the byline, put it in with had a strike on goal. Backman saved it. Backman, by the way, who had an unbelievable game against us at Ellen Road, and we still won 3-0. He had another unbelievable game tonight. Anthony gets it down, ball out, just on the turn a little bit, smashes it goalwards. Great save by Backman's foot. I don't know how he saved that. Anthony hit it so cleanly. It's a brilliant save, and he kept Watford in the game. But at the end there, we were so close to winning it. But the difference of bringing Byram off and almost slotting James in full back, and then obviously bringing Anthony on and Joseph on, I thought when we had control of the ball, which I thought we had for about 30 minutes, to be honest with you, 35 minutes, why not do that earlier? Why not do that earlier? That's my question. I don't really understand why we didn't do that, but we didn't. No problem. But I think Farke can be maybe questioned on that. Listen, I put a video praising Daniel Farke out the other day, and I think he's doing really well at the minute. I think he's doing really well as a development, as a coach. But today I think his substitutions, the Firpo had to be on at half-time. There's an argument that Firpo could have come on in the 35th minute. I think we all can say that with how it was going. Muckanor says, Connie, your knowledge of the game wipes the other streamers off the table over the course of 2 seasons. Calls on players you've been bang on. Thank you, Muckanor. I appreciate that. Listen, I don't think it is, but I never give myself credit with stuff like that anyway. But I think I'm happy you guys coming here, and some of you think it's all right. He's just ready to retire, isn't he? Ipswich will lose against Southampton. Blackburn looked like they should have had 2 goals. They had the ball in the net 3 times. Ipswich got lucky. It doesn't. They never seem to. I think that's the problem, isn't it? With them, Ipswich just don't seem to falter. They just don't seem to. They're doing well at the minute. They are doing well, and there is they are. I mean, the top of the table now, aren't they? I believe so. They're at 84 points. So it switched again. It was Leicester, then it was us. Now it's Ipswich. So, yeah, Leicester have still got that game in hand, haven't they? They've got Norwich, which is going to be a really, really tough game for them. A massively tough game. That is a problem. It's a big problem, that Norwich game now. I think Norwich won again today. I think they've picked up the second most points. I think it's them or Ipswich now in 2024. They're flying. Ipswich have got Norwich coming up as well. The thing is, what we've got to do, everybody, is we can talk about Ipswich. We can talk about Southampton. We can talk about Norwich. We can talk about Leicester. The thing is, right now, we've got to look at what we all expected us to win today, didn't we? We all expected us to win today. It's going to be the exact scenario on Monday again, where Leicester are playing at midday, Ipswich are playing at 5:30, and then we're playing at 8 p.m. Nonso and Gruev, from what we understand, are probably going to be out for about 3 weeks now, so they're not going to be available again. So, I really, really, really like Anthony. I think he's a really good player. I think with all the crap he's gone through this year, the horror show of his mum and all that sort of stuff. I mean, we tried to pay as much tribute on the channel as we could to him, and we give him a lot of flack with what he's gone through, his, the passing of his mother. And to put the performances in he has done for Leeds, the recent performance against Chelsea is such a credit to the lad. And I thought he came on there and made a really good difference and should have won it if it wasn't for a brilliant save. Getting involved in it, winding up the defenders a little bit. But he's got real quality as well, running that defensive line very, very nicely. What he does is he's never offside. You'll see Somerville caught offside quite a bit. Anthony runs the line very, very well. Very, very well indeed. And he was doing it when he came on as well. And it was a very impressive little cameo. So there's a question there. Is there potential to maybe switch some of our wing play there? Could you put Anthony on instead of Dan James? Could you switch that round a little bit? So Somerville's on the other side. But obviously, I don't know if you want to do that because Somerville's exceptional when he inverts. But there are options there. Perot came on, and I'm going to say it. I thought he was decent when he came on. I thought he was decent. So these are all the questions that as fans we're going to be having over the next however many days, to be honest. Let's have a quick look at some of your comments, everybody. Keep getting them in. Ollie says, £2. Don't apologise for your tweet. He was awful. Yeah, mate, 100%. But yeah, look, I understand people get offended by it, which, listen, I don't want to upset people, so there you go. I think the big thing with it was I don't want to come across like I'm hammering him as an individual, and then you'll get certain individuals on Twitter coming back at you to try frame it like that to get likes. That wasn't what I was doing whatsoever. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as well. We're unbeaten in 14 games. Got to look at the bright side. Look at where we were in August 23. Farke out, you haven't lost. No chance, mate. No chance. Did you? Yeah, Ryan, interesting how you thought he was rubbish. Yeah, shame about Nonso and Gruev. Wrong time for that to happen. Sam Byram was good. I think he just needs to stop playing left back. He's right-footed, so weird. He's played that. Do you know what, mate? What I will say about Byram is I thought he looked a little bit jittery when he went to right back. I think he's played more times at left back than any other player. Than any other time in his career. I don't think he's had that before. So that was interesting in itself, to be quite honest with you. I didn't thoroughly expect him to be as jittery as he was on that right-hand side, as in the right-back position, but he was a bit jittery. He looked a little bit more comfortable at left-back, I thought. So, yeah, that was fascinating to see, to be honest with you. But keep getting your comments in. Still unbeaten in 2024, you're right. I'd play Anthony over James for Hull, technically much better than James. Let's have a quick look at some more of what you said. A draw was a fair result. They sat back the second half and didn't do much. Do you know what, though? You have to give credit. You have to give credit to Watford. Watford were good. They were good. We just couldn't unlock it. And we've seen that in some games where the pressed is a little bit high. When Byram's been playing, I've always said this, on his side, he gets pressed a little bit. When he's playing on that left-hand side, that left-hand side, I think they press up a little bit, especially when you've got a combo of Byram and Cooper. We saw that against Southampton a little bit earlier on. But, your Stoke games, your Sunderland games, when they're pressing a little bit high, Leeds really rely on Rutter and Somerville. Really, really rely on Rutter and Somerville. And you need Kamara involved a little bit in there. I didn't think Kamara was involved as much in this game. And you kind of need those that trio to be on it, to be honest with you, when we're getting pressed so high, because they can get the ball and they can just turn quickly. Kamara can go either side. Somerville and Rutter can go either side, which is really beneficial when you've got a player pressing you literally up your arse, because you can go left or right. Your low centre of gravity, when it comes to, Somerville in particular, that jinking motion is a nightmare for defenders. But even Kamara's got a really... The beauty about Kamara and Rutter is their balance. Their balance on the ball is impeccable. It's very, very good, so they can go either way. So, whereas you look at someone like Byram, he's a little bit stiff. So Archie's press resistant as well, which is nice. But we need him in that midfield a little bit, to be honest with you, at points, I think. Team's going to be knacking after tonight. Yeah, they had to really grind in, didn't they? Being at home for the whole match will help on Monday. I think we'll be back to winning ways. Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. Do you think Cooper was right with his offside shot? Yeah, I didn't think he knew where he was. To be fair to him, I've no idea if when Bio went up for it, he went down with his head there, didn't he, Cooper? He went down with his head like that, and I wonder if he actually got bashed a little bit, and he was a bit like, whoa, because he got up, staggered one way, staggered the other. His step margin was that wide. And I wonder if he's like literally just sort of discombobulated himself a little bit there. I don't know, but yeah. So, but that, yeah, it was almost like a Benny Hill thing, you know, like, and it was like that when he was trying to recover, and it was like, oh my goodness, I'm spinning around, move out of my way. That one, do you know what I mean? That's what he was thinking when he was getting back up there, I think. People are, yeah. Let's have a quick look at some more of your comments. Plenty of positives for the game against Hull. Yeah, I think to be honest, mate, I'm not. If we start like that against Hull, a better quality side with Philogene, with Fabio Carvalho, Billy Sharp. Obviously, we know he can put the ball in the back of the net. That sounds really cliche and old punditry, but it's true. He knows where the goal is. Seri, who I think is a really decent midfielder in this division. Yeah, I think they're going to punish us. They're going to punish us. So we can't start like that. Because it wasn't, if we're being honest, it wasn't like a first 5, 10, 15 minutes that was 60 minutes of really poor football from Leeds United. Not being able to keep hold of the ball whatsoever. And when we don't have possession of the ball, when we're not manipulating what's going on, that's not who we are as a unit. We're not an outward defensive team. We're not a counter-attacking team where we will get the ball and dominate the ball and almost pass you to death, and then we'll find that little space. I've criticised Farke a little bit for not employing that long ball, because if we're out wide, if you've got Firpo, if you've got Somerville, if you've got whoever on the other side as well, which changes quite often, if they're hugging the touchline like we saw with Marcelo Bielsa, you have that linchpin in the middle of Ethan Ampadu and just distribute. But we don't do that. We 4-5 pass it across the pitch and we move across as a unit. And that's unique when you've got the wide options that we have who can go 1v1. But we don't do that a lot. We move the opposition over as a unit as well. And obviously that's a tactic, that's a strategy, because you just want short passing in build-up, Daniel Farke. But I do think there is a gap there for us to employ that a little bit more. So yeah, I've just seen a comment in the section. Brad, I've just seen you say, did Melee make a save today? He did, mate. He did. Yeah, he did indeed. It was a very good save for that. I thought for the first one, if I'm being honest, it was a brilliant save. Chris, another Firpo saying, Chris SVN, another member, I should say, Firpo unlocked our ability to cross the midfield. Cree works so much better with him than Byram. He does, mate. Yeah, he does. And it's the width as well. It's the decisiveness. It's, the ability to whip a little bit more of a ball in. Firpo's connection on the ball isn't always great, as we know. I've been in the South Stand plenty of times where he's gone on the Somerville overlap. Somerville's played him in, and he just hits the first man every single time, and Leeds win a corner. And you've got players screaming on the penalty spot, yes. And so his ability, his ball striking ability is not great, but it is better, in my opinion, than your Byrams or whatever, who is not a left footer. But it's Firpo's constant running as well. He's a left winger, isn't he? That's what he is. I mean, by trade, he's a left wing back. He's not a standard left back, a defensive body. He's not. So yeah, I think his ability to get forward is a problem at Championship level. I think if we do get to the Premier League, I think we've got more questions for Junior Firpo, because that positional awareness is going to be tested a hell of a lot more. But he's got that covering Joe Rodon. He's so intelligent, Joe. He's got and Ethan when he's at the back. Anytime Firpo goes forward, you'll just see Joe tuck in. And you will see, to be fair to him, Kamara or Gruev just tuck in as well. And they all shift over as a back line and make it into a 3 or a 4. So they know Firpo's going. They know they need to cover him. And I didn't think we had that in the Premier League, that intelligence, that when our fullbacks went, just that covering body there. Let's not all bomb forward. Let's see that covering body in midfield or whoever it was. And that's where we get counter-attacked a lot. So yeah. Yeah, Byram, I don't think he was great. Joe says, why does Farke prefer Cooper to Cresswell? Well, I guess the different profiles, aren't they, mate? One's a left footer, one's a right footer. I don't think either are quick. Do you know what? Ability-wise, you'd maybe put Cresswell ahead of him, and you probably would. But if we're being honest, I thought I'd see much more from Cresswell. I had a lot more hopes, and I was almost upset with Farke at the start for his sort of man management with him. And you can't really judge Charlie right now because he's not getting on the pitch. He's what, fourth, fifth choice now when everybody's available. So, if Luke Ayling was at the club, Luke Ayling probably would still be ahead of him in the pecking order, if we're being brutally honest, at centre back. So I think overall, his involvement with the club is interesting, Charlie Cresswell. But ability-wise, I don't think there's that much between them. But temperament and mentality-wise, he definitely prefers Cooper. Definitely prefers Cooper. I would prefer to develop a player and someone who can just come in instead of an almost experienced over-the-hill defender who's sort of just getting in because he's captain. There's no way he should be getting in the side. We all know it. We all know it. I mean, I tweeted out on One Leeds. I said, it's going to be Cooper tonight, and he's going to put Ampadu in the middle. I thought that was the right choice. Grev's a number 6. Ampadu is a number 6, so you had to put Ampadu in there, really. But we saw as the game developed, that you might be able to take a number 6 out there and just play with a little bit more of a free flow in midfield, I thought. Keep getting your comments in, everybody. Guys, as well, please make sure you're liking the video. If you want to become part of the Patreon, hit the link in the description below. We're going to be doing player ratings after this as well. We'll have loads more content on here afterwards as well. British Gaming says, don't think we need to panic. You don't turn into a bad team overnight. We win the league. Bad team overnight. We'll win the league. We're still the best team in the league. Yeah, don't disagree with you there, mate. Yeah, and exactly. There's a few people talking about Rutter playing with a hernia, and yeah, I'm not 100% sure that people, I guess for Rutter's going to get a bit of criticism for tonight, but he's been brilliant, hasn't he? He's been brilliant, and if he has been playing with what he's been playing with, which seems like a real problem in game physically. What are we criticising him for? He's coming. He's not been great tonight. He's not been great tonight whatsoever. But when he's given us what he's given us this season, we can't. I think that the old problem with Rutter is it's just doing a little bit too much, isn't it? It's doing a bit too much. But the thing is, that's what risky players do. Pablo Hernandez would probably lose the ball a hell of a lot more than a Matthias Klick, because Pablo Hernandez is doing these ridiculous risky passes continuously. So he's going to lose the ball a lot more. Jorginho Rutter loses the ball a hell of a lot more than any other Leeds player because he's constantly risking it. I think sometimes, and this will come with age, he doesn't need to risk it. Yeah, he doesn't need to always do that, in my opinion. I think Chris, 2 points dropped. I think that's how I see it right now. That's how I see it. But the beauty is you have got Southampton who've dropped points at home to Middlesbrough. You've got obviously Leicester dropping points again away at Bristol City. Ipswich just seems to be a bit of a machine at the minute. And when I say a machine, I don't mean that they're better than everybody else. I just mean they just seem to get it done. As a comment said earlier, Blackburn were really unlucky not to get out of that with a win. Never mind a loss. But that will catch them up at some point. I know we keep saying that, but them coming up against the Southampton, potentially, them coming up against the Norwich, you're not going to get many better teams in the division than that. So one of them is going to have to do something against Ipswich for us. I mean, the goal, it was squeezed in, wasn't it, from Connor Chaplin? I was about to call him Charlie Chaplin. Squeezed in on the far post, and you thought, how's that gone in? How's that gone in? It went in, and it's a clean sheet for Ipswich as well, who seem to be a little bit better at the back at this moment in time as well. So let's have a couple more comments in. Michelle's in the building. Hello, Michelle from Canada. I'm so gutted Cresswell ain't getting any game time, Connor, but at least he did right. He did get it right, putting on Joseph. Keep up the great concept. Thank you, Michelle. Really appreciate that. Lovely comment. I don't think you're wrong, Michelle. I really don't think you're wrong. I think Cresswell, I'd have loved to have seen him involved. For example, tonight. It'd have been interesting to see him tonight. I think we all saw, though, when Ampadu went back there with Rodon. We look more assured, but I'm not saying it's an Ampadu being back. Do you know who looked more assured? Ampadu, which I thought was really interesting. He looked more assured. He was fizzing the ball off once, first touch, fizzing the ball off to Firpo, was playing like sort of short to mid-range passes, out wide to Dan James and then out wide to the fullback as well. He looks a little bit more confident, I'll be honest, at centre-back, which I was really surprised with. Really, really surprised with. So yeah, when he's doing that, you do question a little bit, don't you? You think he's like, well, okay, but like I was saying earlier on, it's his first real central midfield performance. Well, it is since Chelsea, so he's going to have a little bit of rustiness in there. And I thought their man to man approach was completely different to what Chelsea did with them in the midfield. They didn't have a man to man approach, which Watford deployed tonight, which I thought was really, really good. So yeah, but it was interesting how Ampadu went back there and suddenly. But you get, that's why I always say, everybody, defense, being a centre back is not the toughest place in the team. The toughest place in the team, in any team, is central midfield. The brain, the engine of any football team. You know, the best players in the world, in my opinion, are central midfielders and always have been. They always have been. I love that position because you have to be so intelligent, so quick, and so sharp. You have to be a proper athlete. And yeah, I think Ampadu can do both, which is great credit to him. But it's a very, very different position to be playing centre back when you can see the whole field ahead of you. And I thought he just looked so much more comfortable next to Rodon at the back. But yeah. Yeah, toughest keeper. I think goalkeeper as well is a very, very tough position. Chris says Ipswich will win the league. I don't know if Chris is an Ipswich fan. He might be. Yeah, he was lost in the first half. I'd agree with that. Yeah, Brandon's not a fan of Ipswich. Leicester is out of the running for auto spot. Best hope is playoff. I don't know about that, Eric. I don't know about that. I think, even today, I mean, we're talking about how Ipswich should have been 2 or 3-0 down or 2 or 3-1 down against Blackburn. I have absolutely no idea how Leicester weren't about 4 goals up. Jamie Vardy missed about 4 sitters. So yeah, I'm not going to be throwing that one in right yet. I'm still a little bit wary of Leicester City. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please make sure you are leaving a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you think in the sort of post video comments as well down below. If you want to pop on over to Patreon, we'll be doing podcasts throughout the week. It's been an absolute pleasure. As I say, like the video before you leave, get your comments in, share to your friends and family, and it's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. 2-2. It's not all bad. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.